Welcome in, everybody. A little Sunday edition of On Texas Football, special edition. I got some news and notes coming out of spring workouts or winter workouts, actually, I want to go over, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, although I do have a couple of offensive players to discuss as well. Also want to talk a little bit about some of this ongoing sports at the University of Texas. Texas losing in basketball yesterday to Georgia on the road. The Bulldogs advance to 18-9, I believe now. Texas now 17-10. A double-digit win for Georgia that stops the Texas basketball win streak. Texas baseball continued its winning ways this year, remaining undefeated, beating Michigan State yesterday. They've taken two of the first three. They'll finish that series up later today. Also, women's softball continues to roll as well. There's other sports going on too. Texas Longhorns win their 47th consecutive conference title in swimming. 47 consecutive conference titles in swimming. I was 8 years old the last time they lost the conference title in swimming. That's amazing, spanning almost a lifetime for many people. All right, let's get on, talk a little football here. We put out an article. I put out an article this morning on Texas Football, talking about some of the defensive players, newcomers and freshmen that have been showing up on campus and what they've looked like in spring workouts, winter workouts. Let's start with maybe what the player right now that many are circling as the surprise freshman of this recruiting class. That's a young man out of Southern California, Rocky Cummings. Came in with very little ballyhoo, had originally committed to Cal, visited Texas relatively late in the process, ends up changing and flipping his commitment from Cal to Texas once Justin Wilcox got fired at Cal. 6'4", around 225, 230 pounds. He was recently clocked at going 21-plus miles per hour using the data system that the University of Texas used behind the scenes to clock players. For the record, and just to give you an idea of exactly what that means, that's just as fast as classmates at linebacker Tyler Atkinson and Cozy Akpala, yet Cummings a little bit bigger than those guys. He's also impressed with his athleticism. His physique is really, really strong. So he is right now, if you had to ask me who's the biggest surprise of the 2026 recruiting class, it'd be Rocky Cummings out of Southern California. Also, just sticking with the linebackers right now, because we've said that Texas really likes this linebacker core. We still are hearing really good things out of Cozy Akpala. And one of the things about Akpala that I was told recently is it's not just his athleticism and his speed and kind of a know-how. It's a little bit more of the tenacity he's going at his job with right now. That is sticking out to some onlookers at Texas. So that's good stuff for two of the three linebackers. And, of course, the third one is Tyler Atkinson, and he continues to impress as well. He may be the quickest of the linebackers, not necessarily the fastest, though, because both Cummings and Akpala can really run too, but certainly maybe one of the quickest. He's continued to impress. A couple other news and notes as we go down the entire defensive class. I've got a chance to talk to some people about it. James Johnson, the defensive tackle out of Florida, he was injured as a high school senior. That injury has carried over somewhat to these winter workouts. He's a little behind the rest of the incoming class on defense right now from a training perspective and a update perspective. So that's just something to watch and see what happens as we progress through spring. Of course, big guys tend to take a little bit longer to heal. So we'll see what that means for the young man out of Miami. Otherwise, on the defensive front, let's put a little star next to Jamarian Carlton out of Temple, 6'5". I was told that this is a guy that could be 6'5" long-term and 320 pounds. Now, I came in around 280, played high school basketball, played defensive end for Temple up there in the Wildcats. But they see him right now as he's going through workouts as a guy that long-term might be 6'5", 320 pounds as an interior disruptor. It could be a little while before we see him really mature into that physically. So this isn't just an add water instant player scenario. It may take him 2 years plus to really get to that level, but he's working hard. He's got that athleticism, and early word is very, very positive on Jamarian Carlton. Another defensive end that Texas took, Richard Wesley. I was told that he's looked very, very, very impressive as well. The issue there is he's a year behind physically some of his classmates. So even though his physique and his build is tremendous, he's still getting caught up some in the weight room because he graduated an entire year earlier than some of his classmates. And so he is now not behind. He's just catching up because he's so young comparatively. But his athleticism and his size are things that the Longhorns really like. In the secondary, we'll talk briefly. Three guys really to go over here. Smoke Matthews is probably ahead of the other two signees in that regard. Matthews, the defensive back out of North Carolina, was the state player of the year out there as a defensive back or regional player of the year. Long story short, his size, length, and speed combo is probably the best of the group of incoming guys at this point. Although I'm being told that Hayward Howard Jr. may be the most impressive physical specimen of the group. Of course, that's not really surprising. Howard was initially committed when he was 6'2", 200 pounds as a cornerback, or 95 pounds as a cornerback. They think he's going to get up to be 6'4", 6'5", even, in playing at safety early in his career. We'll see how that all progresses, but he is one of the more physically impressive guys just on the hoof, and that is Hayward Howard. The other one is Jaheim Riley, maybe a little bit behind the other two at this point because he's just not as long physically as a Smoke Matthews or as big as a Hayward Howard Jr. But again, this is a defensive back position that he is going to be playing probably safety and or nickel, which to me means you got to wait until the ball gets on the field to see how these guys really play. All you can really comment on them right now is their work ethic, how well they're playing, and their actual speed, as well as taking to the whether or not they have a certain tenacity about how they go about their work ethic. That's going to do it on defense. I do want to mention two more guys that I talked to somebody about this weekend. One of them is Cohen Brown, a young man that's a wide receiver out of Waxahachie. Getting a lot of positive feedback on him across the board, not just with this one source that I spoke to this weekend. Brown, some people had him pegged as a safety and even commented that he was going to be a safety. That was never the case at Texas. Texas always recruited him as a wide receiver. And based on what I'm hearing right now, they have no plans on moving him based on what he's done thus far at wide receiver. Again, the word tenacity and know-how, and some guys just take the workouts like a duck to water. That's what Cohen Brown has been doing right now. I want to add this. The quote somebody gave me was, he's got some zip to him. So he's really doing well in workouts. So make sure you check out, if you haven't already, some of his huddle film to get a better sense of who he is. Brown was at once committed to USC before reneging on that and choosing the University of Texas there out of the Metroplex. Another guy to mention that I talked to about I don't know about everybody's favorite player, but certainly one of them, Jermaine Bishop out of Willis, Texas, 5-star prospect. I had a tremendous high school campaign. His senior year was outrageous, 1,700 plus yards receiving, multiple returns for touchdowns, interceptions, etc. Just an all-around great player. What I was told about him, and they said when you watch him work out, it looks like he runs like a deer. And what does that mean? Well, I mean, I think it's something we've all heard before. It's an analogy, but essentially his feet barely hit the ground. That's how fast he's turning his feet over and how much he's elevating. People want to know who runs like that in the recent past that you could talk about. Xavier Worthy did a little bit, but I would say a guy like Marquise Goodwin is that type of guy where it looks like he's barely hitting the ground at times and just turning it over. That's pretty interesting stuff. But all in all, the freshman class still going through these winter workouts. They will get started almost 2 weeks from tomorrow. on March 9th. Tomorrow, by the way, Steve Sarkisian, the head football coach at the University of Texas, will go through and have a press conference for everybody to attend. That'll get started, I believe, around 10:30 in the morning. We'll have live coverage of that press conference, post the press conference. CJ Vogel, as well as Jeff Howe, will be there for us. I'll be on hand also watching online. So we'll let y'all know if there's anything new. Later tonight, myself and Jerry Hamilton would get together. Rod Baber is going to be out this evening because he's got a charity event to attend to. So Jerry and I will be on. Then tomorrow morning, we'll be back with Coffee and Football as well. That's going to do it for a little quick update here from On Texas Football on Sunday. That is a beautiful day today. You guys have a good one. Hook 'em horns. Thanks.